A young orphan who sits in an isolated village churchyard was staring at his parents' tombstones, and suddenly there appears a growling dressed man in rags, and he seizes Pip. Hello, friends. My name is Rukhizar. Today I am here with a summary of a novel, The Great Expectations, written by Charles Dickens. So let's begin the story of the novel. Pip lives in southeast of England with his sister and her husband, Joe Gregory and Mrs. Joe Gregory. Mr. Joe Gregory is a blacksmith. He loves Pip and cares for him. So friends, here we come to know about the three main characters of this story. Pip, who is an orphan, his sister Mrs. Gregory, and her husband Mr. Gregory. So let's know more what happens in the story. One Christmas evening, Pip was sitting beside the grave of his parents, and suddenly a criminal, Abel Magwitch, appears there, whose hands were cuffed, and he seized Pip and asked him to bring something from his home to eat, as he was very hungry. He also asked him to bring a sharp tool to cut the handcuffs. Pip goes to home and stole some food and cutter from the store of his brother-in-law. The next morning, Pip and his brother-in-law saw that Abel Magwitch, who is the criminal, is being arrested by the police force. Before leaving that place, criminal requested the police force to give him few minutes so that he could say thanks to the child who saved his life the day before. Now the new part of the story is going to begin. A few steps ahead of Pip's house there lived a rich but mentally disturbed woman, Miss Havisham, and her adopted daughter Estella. From 20 years she has been wearing the same wedding dress. 20 years back, Miss Havisham's fiancé ran away few moments before she was going to get married to him. That's the reason she has been wearing the same wedding dress since 20 years. Pip's uncle, Pumblehood, suggested one day to Mrs. Gregory to send Pip to Miss Havisham's house so that he could work there, as there was a need of a worker. Pip's sister agreed instantly. So Pip went to Miss Havisham's house, and there he met with Estella. One thing I must mention here, Miss Havisham has raised her daughter Estella in such a strange way that she taught her one thing in life: when she grows up, she has to betray a man who comes to her life. As Miss Havisham herself was deceived, so she wants Estella to deceive the person who comes to her life. When Pip meets with Estella, he fell in love with her, but Estella hates Pip. When Pip realizes that Estella does not love her, he starts disliking his poor status. Pip makes up his mind that he will study and become a rich man. One day, an anonymous benefactor helps Pip to move to London and become what he wants. Pip assumed in his heart that the anonymous benefactor may be Miss Havisham. But more to the point, he really wanted to study abroad and wanted to become a gentleman. So he immediately was ready to avail this opportunity. In London, Pip lived with his friend Herbert Pocket. While living in London, Pip became extravagant. Pip has come of the age, and now he wants to learn who his benefactor is. Pip's brother-in-law, Joe Gregory, went to London to meet him. Mr. Gregory became very upset with the cold and unwelcoming behavior of Pip. So Joe left for his village, and he was very disappointed. Pip comes to know that his sister, Mrs. Joe Gregory, had passed away. Then he moved to his village to attend the funeral of his sister. When Pip comes to know that his benefactor was a criminal, Abel Magwitch, he was hardly able to believe that's fact, because he assumed that his benefactor was Miss Havisham. It was at this moment that Pip comes to know that Estella has got married with a man, Bentley Drummle. Pip was completely disappointed and broken. Pip meets with Havisham and she reveals everything to Pip. She told Pip that Estella was adopted daughter of Havisham and a lawyer, Jaggers, brought her here. Pip discovers that Estella was daughter of Abel Magwitch, the same criminal who met with Pip many. Pip went abroad for 11 years for business, and when he came back to his village, what he found? He found that Estella was living in the village. Stella's husband was very cruel. He used to beat Stella. One day he fell from the horseback and he died. Stella proposed Pip, and finally they got married and lived happily.